Hey guys, this is your boy Captain Lestache here. We're going to be talking about part 2 of Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi. And yes, we're going to be diving deep into the rest of the acts and just kind of finishing up this series on AI versus Hollywood.
We're geeks from the multiverse. We've come to unite all geeks. Now it's time to get geeky and dive right in, cause we're geeks from the multiverse.
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is your boy Captain Lestache here. And as always, with me is my boy Mr. Grumpy Beard.
What's up, everybody?
So, yes, today is part 2 of Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi. And yes, we've already mentioned a little bit about it already, but it's just, ever since we've done this series, Matt, I always know that it's just been an interesting ride. I mean, it's crazy to see that we've had 2 original ideas. Now of course, there's another original idea, but just more of a parody spoof and a few other things about this. But it's just crazy to see like how this could potentially, if I'm not saying now, but if we ever did present it to somebody and we had the right people.
This is actually number 4.
Well, I know, Matt. It's just
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy
crazy.
to see that. I mean, because we did a video game adaptation of a video game character, which I'm not saying we couldn't do it, but like this one, I could see if we ever got the right people and the right cast and everything else, like this could be a movie. Like this could be something that would be
Could
funny.
be a movie. I mean, the selling point. I mean, for any parody movie in general, like parody satire movie, the plots are very basic.
Of
Like
course.
you can't do a movie like this and have this like complicated Inception style plot. Like you have to just stupid simple, right? Like, and that's what make the what makes this movie are the jokes and how they're done. Because I can tell you there are some really shitty parody movies, and although they have funny moments,
Oh yeah.
they're still shitty movies.
Well, and not only that, I mean, here's the problem, right? So like this movie, in today's age, it can be good, it can be done right, but the issue is like, you look at the movies we talked about in the past, like, like Spaceballs, like Blazing Saddles, some of these movies that, were I'm not saying all of it was controversial, but like some of this stuff, like, it was good for their time frame. Like this could be done, of course, today's age, because I mean, going back in time and doing all that. I mean, it kind of makes more sense to do it now than it would be to do it like, let's say 30 years ago. I mean, you probably could, but I don't know. I just feel like the budget and everything wouldn't be as great. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of stupid and weird at the same time. And so,
Yeah.
like now, like this would make sense. And when you got like the um like scary movies and things like that, like more popular versions of like 2000s, I would say early 2000s and stuff like that, those were fine and those were great. They were really funny, but like, to try to recreate some of that magic, especially because it was like just great for what it was, like it's hard to do that. So like, taking an idea like this where, you're taking kind of like that airplanes, the I'm trying to remember the other one, Matt, and it was airplanes and there was one other movie.
Spaceballs.
Well, no, Naked Gun. Sorry,
Naked
I was
Gun.
thinking it was Airplane and Spaceballs and Naked Gun and a few others, right? And you mix them all together, and you're like, okay, well, now we're going to take some West Coast rappers and just throw them back in the past and say, okay, well, let's see what they would do back in the past.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, before we go any further, there's a couple things I want to mention here. Super Bowl, baby. So what's funny is Matt actually said to me, he said, the Patriots are not going to the Super Bowl. And I said, okay, Matt, we'll see about that. What happened? Now, granted, I know that the AFC Championship game was not the greatest of all time because it was very slow, and I love how the quarterbacks were basically the only two that actually scored a touchdown. And so
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, but I mean, it was interesting to see that. But yes, okay, so I'm just saying, yep, I'm a New England's fan. I know Matt's like, whatever. I'd rather have the Seahawks now win, and I'm like, fine.
I don't want the fucking Seahawks to win.
Also, you
I
do want
hate
to
the
pick,
Seahawks.
well, I thought, because you're a West Coast,
No,
like
fuck the
49ers,
Oh, fuck the Seahawks.
He's like, fuck the Seahawks, man. He's like, Patriots all the way, even though I'm like, whatever, man. It's now, I know you were originally saying that AI was predicting that, the Broncos and the Seahawks were supposed to go to the Super Bowl, which
that was the initial
I know it
prediction,
was
but
the
when
initial.
Bo Nix was injured, it threw that right out the window.
true. I mean, now granted, this game was close. Don't get me wrong, but it is going to be a challenge, next week, for sure. Because I mean, you're talking about one of the best, NFC teams, of course, right now in the league, and then of course the Patriots. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical at first because I was wondering to see how, at least Drake May was going to do because again, this is second year in, and now he's going to a Super Bowl, which to me is still crazy. I mean, as a
I mean,
rookie, almost like a rookie. In a sense.
Seahawks are still favored. I think like 5.5 or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I've always been for years now. I mean, you see it if you look it up. But I mean, the NFL on one level is scripted.
Oh no, I mean you can tell by even the NFL, like the Super Bowl logo. I mean they've said that for years. Like you could tell by the Super Bowl logo, and they've had predictions of who based on the colors.
Yeah, so it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's quite the same as like WWE or whatever.
no.
I mean, it's not on that level, but I think what the players do on the field is real. But there's a level of
I was going to say
when they start pulling back. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like you see a team like I mean, my team is the 49ers, but you see a team like that, and you start wondering like, are they really that injured?
Or
Are they just pretending to be injured because of the script? Like they were never going to go to the Super Bowl, but they went as far as they could. But it's just one of those things like you see a good team with a great defense, and then all of a sudden the next week they suck altogether, and it's like,
Yeah.
are they holding back on purpose?
Yeah, and I mean I've been
Are-
wondering the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, are the refs part of the equation where
Oh,
they're
I'm
I mean,
definitely
those two games, last week were, well, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
At this point, but there were calls that the announcers were saying like that was clear pass interference, and they even have like a ref, like a retired. I think he's like a retired ref, but they refer to him like, hey, what did you see there? And a couple of the calls, he was like, "Yeah, that was clear pass interference. I don't know why they didn't call it." Well, I can tell you why they didn't call it because it would have changed the course of the game.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's crazy to me that when you were just saying about the refs. I mean, I agree that I think they do have a lot to play in it because especially where I know in that the AFC Championship, there were some calls that I was like, you didn't want to call that, but you called this. And I get it because it's a high stake game and stuff. And I mean, I just thought it was funny that they called on the Broncos. I remember the head coach literally challenging a play for a touchdown because you couldn't tell who had the ball in that moment.
Right.
Now they gave the Patriots the ball back, but I just thought it was funny. I'm like, how are you going to tell when you have like 20 guys on top of each other? Like, where are you going to see like the angle of where this ball is?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But we'll see how they do. I mean, again, and I know like in our next episode, unfortunately, like we're not going to know the winners of the Super Bowl at that time. But hopefully in the next week that we do it, we'll be like, oh yeah, whoever wins and stuff.
My vote and my prediction would be Patriots because nobody is talking about Sam Darnold as being MVP.
True.
And nobody is talking about the Seahawks head coach as being coach of the year.
True. Now I know Mike Vrabel was the head coach of the year at one point too, like a few years ago. But I mean, can he do it again
With the Titans? Yeah.
Yeah, with the Titans. But I mean, I could I see him being like head coach of the year? Sure, I could definitely see that, especially with the fact that this is his first year with the team, and then literally bringing them to the Super Bowl, which is an impressive feat. And then
He's the first. He'd be the first coach in history
right,
to
player.
play a Super Bowl and win, and to be a
head
coach,
right,
and win.
Yeah,
if
so
they win.
yeah, right. I mean, if I was going to say if Belichick if back in the day ever did, but he never did at the time. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, Vrabel right now. I mean, if this continues, and I'm not saying like dynasty wise, and everyone's like, oh my god, dynasty. I'm like, we'll see. I mean, because like I said, I mean, you look at, for example, Patrick Mahomes, and yes, I know, not our favorite player here, but like you look at him, and you look at like, well, definitely, I don't think Andy Reid ever played, not that I know of. But like you look at someone like him, and you go to the Super Bowl a few times. And everyone was thinking that they were going to go this year too, and then I'm like, well, they didn't do so hot this year. They didn't do what they were told. But now I'm curious to see in the next few years like where teams are going to be now because again we could win this year. It could be a toss-up next year. It could be like that
I mean,
too.
there's so many
There's
teams.
so many things.
There's so many teams that fired their head coach.
I saw that, and I was like, that's crazy.
So there's a whole there's more than a handful of teams that will have brand new coaches. So it'll be interesting to see.
And I also think they need to stop doing that. I think they need to just, like, if they're doing this for the first time, leave them the fuck be. Like, if this was like year 5 and they're like, there's not a whole lot of progression.
Well, I mean, I
maybe.
could see some teams like, you know, when you go 4-13, that's pretty fucking bad.
I mean, look at the Browns, for God's sakes. I mean, or, you know, like back in the day, they weren't doing so hot either. But I mean, were they firing their head coach every time? No. I mean, they were probably keeping him for a while, but I get it. I do.
Yeah.
But anyways, the only other thing I was going to mention real quick is, so Matt, real quick, I was a little surprised that he played this. So yes, what I'm talking about, there's a certain game that, you know, or let me put it this way, video game franchise, like we've talked about before, he does not like Pokemon. Okay. He just doesn't want to play it, doesn't whatever. So I say, okay, well, we were talking about this game called Pal World, which has now been out for the last few years. And I know on PS5, it came out a little while ago. But the thing about this was, I started playing with my brother and my family, and I was like, oh, this would be great. And so, you know, I showed Matt like the game, and he was just like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't buy it personally. I'm like, okay, fine. So I sent him $30, and I said, okay, now go ahead and buy it. Now, granted, he didn't have to buy it, but he did. He bought the game, and I was surprised.
Well, I have a little bit of integrity.
Wait a minute.
It's somewhere in the bottom of my shoe, but I still have. I do still have some.
Okay.
You gave me $30 to buy Pal World, and I bought Pal World.
I know you did, and then you started playing, and you were like,
"Am I eager to play it?" No.
No, I'm not saying you're eager to play it, but you did. You know, we did play together, and he was a little surprised that he was like, okay.
I mean, like I said, it is like when, you know, playing The Sims back in the day, and I say back in the day because people still play The Sims today.
Of course.
But
No, but
you have to go into The Sims and do your shit in the game, so it's kind of the same idea.
well, there's a lot of things about this game that is like, you know, sure, you take Pokemon, you take, let's say, Minecraft a little bit, you take Fortnite a little bit, you take, you know, like you're saying, The Sims, you're talking about all these different things, and like, of course, it has its unique, you know, play out, but I was just surprised that when he started playing, he was like, "Oh, what about this? What about this? What?" So like I was trying to show him like kind of the gist of it, and so far, I mean, it's getting better now. I mean, you know,
I'm getting there.
It's getting there, but I mean, now he's in our game. You know, he has the tallest base, which we found out when we were building his base. We were like, let's see how tall we can go, and Matt's like, dude, I don't want to go that. No, we're breaking the record, man. We're gonna see how tall this goes, and he was just like, great. And so we're just building, we're doing all this. And then all of a sudden we're just like, well, I guess we're done building because we can't build anymore. And if we do, it's just not going to work out as well. So, you know, we were doing it and then started building it and doing all this. And like I said, I mean, I think for the most part, I mean, I can't speak for Matt, but I do think that he's, you know, slightly warming up to it. And maybe not a lot, but just a smidge.
The Citadel of Grump.
That's what you should. You know what? And you can have a side. You can have like a sign that just says Citadel of Grump, or the Grumpy Citadel. The Grumpy Citadel.
No, that would say that the Citadel itself is grumpy.
Well, I mean, it is all black, so I don't know what to tell. He's like, wait. Why are we talking about color now? No.
Whoa!
We're not talking about color here. What are we talking about? Anyways, let's dive right in because I know we were talking too much here. But Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi. Every time, man.
Oh,
every time. Because I was like I'm not going to do it because I just would strain my voice. But the very end there, I was just like, yes, let's get into it. So you know what? I'll let you do this little summary since we talked about it last week, but we're going to just let you know where we're at now.
Yeah, so episode 1, which was last week, if you want to check it out, I would urge you to check it out before you listen to this one because it gives, the whole overview from Acts 1 through 4. And so we unleash Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi, which is our flow blown AI parody movie where Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre accidentally time travel after Dre rewires Cube's luxury jacuzzi into a bass powered DJ experiment. One beat too many, and they're sucked straight back into 1991 Los Angeles. So at first, it feels like some kind of a stoner hallucination. You got VHS tapes, cassette decks, MTV with Kurt Loder. Man, those are the days, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
um,
you're a little too young for that. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, whatever.
Hey. But the joke turns dark real fast when they realize none of them ever became famous. Their music never happened. Hip hop history is broken. So they regroup at an abandoned studio and discover the nightmare timeline that Suge Knight controls West Coast hip hop, running the industry like a mob empire, labels, artists, and the sound itself belongs to him. And the episode ends with one clear mission: rebuild Dre's quantum turntable, take back the culture, and throw a concert so loud it resets reality. So time's broken, the bass is the weapon, and the jacuzzi is still humming.
I like it. Look at that. Love the summary there.
Yeah.
And of course, right, we've already talked about, who would hopefully direct this and all this stuff. I mean, we did mention Mel Brooks, but, reality is we know that he's getting too old at this point. But, like the guys who made, Airplane, Naked Gun, Scary Movie, Hot Shots, those kinds of things, like, have those guys come in and hopefully do something cool with this. I mean, if you have all three of them, man.
It would be, I mean, Mel Brooks would be my top choice, but he is one that doesn't take outside work. Like he prides himself on like his creations or like his people's creations, like not like, hey, I have this movie, do you think you'd want to direct it? He'd be like, fuck no, get out of here, kid. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think like the Zucker brothers and Jim Abrams, like they would be the guys
Oh, yeah.
that we would want because I mean, you talking Airplane, the Naked Gun movies, Scary Movie. I mean, there's much more than those, but
We're talking about one of the popular ones, of course, but like this would be again like just the level of.
we get 3 guys.
No, I know, but then
Yeah.
like again, three binds are better than one. But like, no, I'm just saying, like, just realize that the stupidity, the insanity, all the weird shit about this. I mean, even the jokes I feel like would just be just out there. I mean, because I mean, when you're talking about before we were talking about like Ice Cube, every so often he'd just see a bunch of ice cubes just laying around or like sitting on a table somewhere, and you're just like, oh, I see a little airplane montage, little thing. So it's just like bring in so many like different clips of cinematic history, but just like in a spoof parody version of it. I mean, I just feel like that would be
Yeah.
funny and like just a nice little tribute to again just pop culture.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, and we've talked about the tone. We've talked about Dre, Cube, and Snoop's little quirks that they have as personalities.
Right.
I mean, with Dre saying, "Oh, yeah," like,
Yeah,
he
like
says it before or after everything he says. So throughout the movie, this is like his little quirk where he will be like, how you doing?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And then he also part of his thing throughout the movie is he just scavenges everything and constantly builds like DJ turntables, even though he doesn't need it. Like he just built like it's a
just a habit. It's
Yeah.
just something he would normally do.
but he would be the leader of the brains of the crew. He's the one that sets the direction and whatever. But Cube, we all know Ice Cube has that angry look, right? So that's his quirk. He uses that as a weapon, sort of like the little mean glance that scares people off.
You mean like wait, like your face when you try to scare people off?
Yeah, I don't try to scare people off though.
Oh, so you're just saying that
they're
it's
just
natural?
Yeah,
Is that-
they're just naturally scared.
just natural. You're like, oh god, what's going on with this guy? Fuck this guy.
So he constantly experiences ice cubes throughout the movie. Like they start off as small, but then throughout the movie they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's one of those funny joke. Like, if you know Airplane and Scary Movie, like it's funny. Like
Oh yeah.
it's sort of like in Scary Movie with the joints and everything, right? Like
Oh yeah. Someone's always smoking a joint somewhere.
yeah.
Uh,
And then Snoop, obviously, he is like the weed wizard. So he's has a joint for every occasion, every purpose, like college or time travel.
Saturday joint, like
Yeah,
days of the week.
2 Saturday joints and a joint that for days that end and why. Um, and then part of his personality quirk is that he spells words out when he speaks. So he's like, comic relief kind of that character, but I kind of see that being really annoying. Like he's just spelling like chips
Like CHIPS, baby. And you're like, wait,
and they're
can
just
you
like, you don't have to spell everything,
and you're like, but I
KNOW, bitch.
you bitch. No, I mean, and again, him being the comic relief and again this weed wizard. So it's like, oh, hey guys, don't worry, I got a weed. I got this specific joint just for this special occasion, bruh. And you're like, you BRO, baby.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting time. But I mean, looking at Act 5, because this is where we're kind of starting off where
And
Matt
there,
was
I mean,
just saying,
there will
too.
be other rappers and stuff that we will see, like other hip hop people that
Yeah.
we will see in this movie that are like, even though I want to say we're not making fun of them, it really makes fun of hip hop as a general
Yeah, so
theme.
like
So you will see like Easy E, we'll see a younger Eminem, like we'll see other rappers and
right, that they're either like up and coming or maybe they were present in the game. So maybe you'd see Tupac, maybe you see Biggie. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, we did mention Diddy, but I mean, I guess if you have Diddy, you got to have Biggie there too. But yes, Act 5, right? So like this is the starting point of what we were just saying. Like where Suge Knight was. They're all looking at it as like, holy shit, we got to do something about it. So this is where we have to fix this, right? So right now, like the tone of this, right, is like Mission Impossible meets Straight Outta Compton through Spaceballs, which that's a fucking insight. I don't even know how to describe that. And then so like right now the trio is holed up in an abandoned 90s recording studio, their new HQ, a dusty temple of their glory days. Neon buzzes, gold records hang, crooked, pigeon coos in the booth. There you go. That's a good one. For them right now, it's like more just reconnaissance. They have to find out what Suge Knight has been, what's he's been doing with the timeline. So the recon, you got Drake, Snoop, and Cube. They sneak through the city in the most conspicuous disguises possibly. Think trench coats, bucket hats, and oversized sunglasses. I mean, I feel like you could do that, or they could just be like, I don't know, like maybe like Ice Cube is like an Ice Cube.
I mean,
or something stupid like that.
It's one of these things like you and I don't want to go like to the racist route, right? But I would almost say like they have to dress like not like they like the 90s hip hop like stars like they are like they would do today.
Yeah.
But like average white people. Like that has to be the joke. And I know it's racist as shit to say.
No, but like okay, think about it like this. So
I feel like if they were wearing like polo shirts or like button up shirts with like with sweater vests, like people wouldn't really look at them.
Right. I was thinking like Dre like being like the I'm thinking like corduroys and like like a suspender like basically look like Steve Urkel in a sense, but like but just more whiter, I guess if you want to call it. And like I said, or maybe just like throw a spoof of like Ice Cube being like an actual Ice Cube. And just I don't know. He's just walking around, and everyone's like, "The fuck's this dude just walking around in an Ice Cube?" Like, my name's Ice Cube, man, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and this recon, you have to if you listen to the other episode first, you would know that the recon is when I believe Cube is doing the talent, like they're looking for talent.
Oh yeah.
So he's trying to go and be discovered by Suge Knight and his group. And then Dre and Snoop are doing the recon behind the scenes. And that's pretty much where they're like that's where we are right now. So they're trying to find information from Suge Knight's record company to see like what's going on.
I'm not gonna lie though, I really like this. Snoop uses his weed smoke stealth technique to fog bomb the guards at Suge Knight Records. Guards dissolve into giggles and dance to imaginary beats. I mean,
That's funny as shit.
I
Right
mean,
there.
it is, and I was just kind
I
of
could
like,
just see him too. Like he, opens like his code or something, and there's I'll use my fog weed right here.
my pogweed is just this big ass cloud. Like think of like a vape cloud, but just like even bigger than that shit. And you're just like, what the fuck?
The fuck?
And then inside they discover Suge's dystopian label empire. Artists chained to NDAs, 47% royalties, posters that say obey the label. A propaganda video plays on loop at Suge Knight Records. Loyalty is mandatory. So is direct deposit. I was like, "Yep, everything is mine now, bitch." And I kind of looking at this too. I mean, of course, like because they're just kind of doing their own thing. They're trying to figure this out. Now they kind of figured it out. Now they're going back to their base. Back in the studio. They kind of debrief on a dusty mixing console. There you go. Dre explains the only way to repair time is to rebuild his quantum bass DJ turntable, the Spinfinity 3000. Spinfinity.
The Spinfinity 3000.
And beyond. No. He's like, what? No copyrights. No, we're not. And then you got Cube that declares, then we drop the hardest track in history so loud it resets the timeline. And Snoop's like
a soundtrack to existence, nephew.
Nephew, NEPHEU or EW, baby. Then Q serious nods, camera pulls back, a record scratch freeze frame, before the title card, and then of course, cue up the montages.
Yeah, so I mean, really like they discover basically that he's taken over hip hop. Like they didn't know this prior to this event. Like
Right.
prior to their recon, they just had this understanding like from the random guy that they bumped into like you guys don't know Suge Knight like owns hip hop like, but they see like 47% royalties is pretty massive. Like it's
Oh, of course.
normally if you're an artist like the record company will take like
Take-
20%.
Oh, really? Is it 20%? I
It's-
thought it was like 5 or 10 or something like that.
It depends on the studio, like on the actual record company, but 47.
I mean that's you're just basically making them bankrupt at that point. And then the fact that he said direct deposit is mandatory, and it's like
So it's basically like you obey the label and you're loyal or you're not and you're gone. Like
in a box.
physically, yeah, you're
Like just say it, Matt. You're in a box. That's all
Yeah.
I gotta say.
So that's kind of where they are, and they get this idea of like, we need to rebuild this, Spinfinity 3000 quantum based DJ turntable, and we need to drop a track that's going to reverberate through this timeline. Like it's going to put us back on the map, and then we can go back to our time, and everything will be fine. Because at this point, I think if they went back, they'd be nobodies.
Yeah, they wouldn't know who's Dr. Dre. I don't know.
So yes, this is where we cue up the montages. This is like the execution and escalation. The tone of this is like Rocky 4 meets Blues Brothers meets Fast and Furious with a contact high.
Jesus.
That's a lot right there.
That's extremely a lot. I mean, this whole like montage, this first one with Dr. Dre here, the Scrap Symphony, Dre roams the city, scavenging parts to rebuild the Spinfinity 3000 with car stereos, microwaves, traffic lights, and a NASA satellite. How would you get a NASA satellite
know.
dish anywhere at this point?
We're in a parody, man.
It
Anything's
just,
possible.
like,
yeah.
hey guys, hey, what's that? Oh, whoosh, and he just like takes it, and you're like, wait, how the hell did you just move that thing?
It's just like you see him like going to he's going to random places, just scrapping everything. Like
Yeah, go to junkyards, go to well, I mean, I would, and then he just goes up to a traffic light, starts climbing it. It's like,
just taking it apart. Yeah. The beat under it builds to a literal scrap symphony. So the call out is like that Rocky training montage. We all know it. Like he's running in the snow and doing stuff
Yep.
in that little farmhouse. The Iron Man cave build.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yep, like the
Um,
first one. Yep.
And the like A-team tool montages where they're like upgrading some car.
Oh, yep.
Like, that's kind of the idea. Where this one's a little bit more ridiculous because we'll see Dre just scrapping things that normally like you just wouldn't be having access to, like going to NASA and taking a satellite dish off of their off the satellite. Like
See, and this is
it's
where
just crazy stuff.
I feel like this is where his disguise like previously, this is where I feel like it would come into play. Like if he was like dressed up as like a Steve Urkel type character, and be like, "Hey guys, let me just talk to you for a second. I just can you see that over there?" And then he just like somehow he just grabs this fucking dish and starts running off with it. You know?
Yeah. So montage number 2, we have Cube and Snoop Dogg's recruitment tour. So this is like they hit the road to recruit old rap comrades, people that they knew. So some of these guys are, they're NWA or they're just people that they knew. And we first see Eazy-E.
Oh, this one's funny.
And if you know anything about 90s rap and hip hop, you know that before NWA was started, Eazy-E basically was a drug dealer.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
you say drug dealer, he sold weed.
Well,
that was, not in the 90s.
It was huge.
It was huge. If you smoked weed, you were like, oh,
like
you're smoking the wacky tobacco?
Are you smoking the red devil?
Are you a criminal? Have you gone to jail? Like that?
Are you smoking that devil's lettuce over there?
Yeah. But so we see Eazy-E and he's on a street corner, like just out there, and he, basically what he's doing is he's a drug dealer. He's a pharmacy. He's like a walking pharmacy.
He's like, I got that Tylenol for you, baby.
That's the parody where, you'll probably have somebody coming up and be like, man, I really need something. I got that itch. And he's like, I got some Tylenol. I got some of this.
He's like, I got some metformin. You're like, wait, what the fuck? You got
you
diabetes,
think
right?
you think he's selling drugs, and then you're like, wait, did he just sell 2 Advil to this guy?
Yeah, $10. Let's go. You're like, wait, what? And then you got, this one's a good one. And then DJ Yella, right? So of course this was one of their, other partners in crime when it came to NWA too. Is a kid. So he's at a kid's birthday party, with Fisher Price decks. So I love how it had to be Fisher Price, just like this random kids, basically like
Fisher Price DJ decks. Yeah. That in itself is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine that.
Yeah.
And then of course this one we were kind of toying with the idea because especially with Dre and I would say more Dre than anybody, but like with Eminem, right? So like this teen version of Eminem with like probably like this acne and just like his weird probably mullet hair that I remember seeing I think a long time ago, but like
right.
Begging to join. They pelt him with 40-ounce bottles, and he's basically saying, "You'll be begging me for a feature when I'm holding a Grammy." Yeah, well, guess what?
Yeah, so I think that would be like I think Eminem and Diddy would be like the recurring people that like are trying to get their attention.
Right.
Like he sees them and they're like, "Hey, can I be part of your group?" And they're like, "Get the fuck out of here, kid."
Yeah, get out of here. You don't even. How old are you? He's like,
"Go eat a chip and go away."
I'm not even out of high school yet. And he's like, I'm pretty sure he drops out of high school anyways. But he's like, I just want to do it, man. You're like, go back to school, kid. Like, get it out of my face.
Yeah.
And then,
so I'm doing Diddy.
Okay, fine. You're doing Diddy.
I'm not.
Whoa, just be careful now.
So Diddy is the ongoing joke in this movie. We've seen him already, maybe a couple times already.
Oh yeah.
But he slides in, dripping in baby oil. Cube punts him into the fountain. Take your shine somewhere else. But this is like the ongoing joke is like, Diddy just keeps showing up. He wants to be part of this. And they're just like, no, get the hell out of here.
We know about your Diddy parties, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then you're like, oh, did you know? It's like, did you know about his parties?
So we have some others too. So we have Nate Dogg and Warren G. So Nate Dogg is singing gospel hymns in a back alley that sounds suspiciously like future G-Funk choruses. And then Warren G, he's handing out mixtapes labeled "One Day I'll Regulate."
And then you got this, so again, like this particular, act, this parody energy, we've already mentioned the Blue Brothers, getting the band back together, Ocean's 11 planning swagger with like zero real strategy. So hoping that they're trying to get their old, comrades in a sense. Climactic beat, Suge Knight, storms the streets in a golden lowrider convoy announcing night falls at midnight. He vows to shut down the concert, confiscates, the Spinvidity, 3000 and own time and publishing rights. And then, of course, the trio, they stand defiant in flickering neon. Cube's like, then I guess it's about time to drop that beat. Cube, thunderous bass drop leading into, the next act here. And then, of course, this one is the concert.
The concert of destiny.
Of destiny. I feel like we should have a cool narrator, like during the movie. I feel like just like somebody's stupid. You know what I mean? Like just have like this weird parody about it. You know, he's like, I really don't know what we're doing here right now, but we're just gonna cue in this scene.
I think they did that maybe in one of the Naked Guns. I don't know if I don't. It was one of these parody movies where, you had the narrator like reading, like basically narrating the scenes in the movie, and then the actors, the actors are like, "Who the hell are you?
What are you doing here? What is this?"
Because they can hear the narrator and they're like, "No, that's not happening right now."
And then our fearless trio then discovers the truth, or something stupid. No, I just feel like it would be funny because then you'd be like, "Do you have somewhere else to be right now?" It's like, no, actually, I'm getting paid by the hour to do this. I don't know. I just feel like it would be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
and
I
cool to
think
bring somebody in.
it was in. It was definitely in one of the parody movies. I just don't remember which one, but it's kind of like they break that fourth wall,
Yeah.
where they can hear the narrator and the narrator's like going off
the beaten path, basically.
Yeah. And they're like, "Could you stop?"
Like, that's not what's happening here. And you're like, well, you're about to find out.
All right, so we have act number 7, and this is the concert of destiny. So it's midnight. The West Coast Civic Center becomes the epicenter of cosmic funk. Dre spins, Cube growls, and Snoop levitates through smoke.
I could only imagine that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
I think he basically just has a joint all the time, so who knows?
Who knows how he's doing it, but
who knows how many he's actually smoked throughout the movie. But Suge Knight arrives on a golden lowrider carried by his security guys, which are Beef, Static, and Mixtape, wielding a boombox minigun and a mic scepter that shoots bass lasers. I don't know what the fuck a bass laser is.
Neither do I, but that sounds cool.
It sounds cool. So the chaos unfolds. The fog itself is weed smoke, obviously, thanks to Snoop. Thugs and gangsters are shooting guns weird. Like normally you see them shooting sideways, but in this case they're like upside down or different ways. Like the guns are oversized or really, really small. Like so it's that parody of gangsters. Like
I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like it'd be cool, especially with the micro guns. You should be like pew pew pew, pew. Like just have that random sound and be like, seriously, we couldn't have a bigger gun? Like then everybody's like, okay, hold on, and then just like cue up this oversized, I don't know, Mac 11.
Well,
or
I mean,
like
there probably will be like a lot of different little like I would call them montages, but not as big as the two that we already said. But like I could see like the gangsters like getting out of the car and they open the trunk and it's just full of like weapons.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're pulling out bazookas and like huge things and like small like little and one guy's like the last guy to get his gun is like it's like this small. It doesn't even fit in his hand. Like he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to fire this?
What is this shit?
So you got people punching heads off, nut punches. I mean, you have to go for ball punches. I mean, come on.
Come on. It wouldn't be a spoof movie if that wasn't the case.
Off to the side, there's just a group of gangsters getting high.
And then you probably see Snoop going over there with them real quick. He's like, hey, get your ass back over here. Ah, shit. Okay.
Cube throws punches, sync to Dre's snare hits. Snoop smoke rings trap thugs mid-dance.
Oh, God.
He's blowing circles and they're just going around him and they're like, I can't get out.
He's like, that's right, baby.
And then Dre and Suge duel in a turntable Jedi beats defending gravity.
See, I feel
this
like
is crazy chaos.
This
dude.
is extreme. Like, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, I can only imagine when they're writing this or whether, and they're like, and this is your concept idea, and we're like, oh, dude, we're bringing all the stops on this one. There's there's nothing.
This
holding
is like
back.
This should be the craziest fight you've ever seen in a parody movie. Like,
right, like you need to go like balls to the walls, like stupid shit everywhere. You're just like, how is this even possible? Like, well, that's the point of this movie.
And it has to be like, that 90s, like I said, the 90s hip hop, like it should be crazy.
Well, then, of course, the concert starts, and as they take turns doing their signature songs, I don't know why. Signature songs here. Dre's turntable fires up and ignites. A portal opens to 2025, sucking them all three back inside of it. And then you got reality implodes and bass drop slow-mo or slow motion, silence, rippling jacuzzi water, and so like some of the call outs here, you got like Scott Pilgrim music battle visuals, you got some Tron Legacy light grid concert look. Well, okay, that'll be interesting. That'll be like a mind fuck as it is right
Yeah.
there. And then you got the Spaceballs final battle, absurdity, ludicrous bass, speed. So I mean, I feel like this would be a lot in a very like I don't know
Yeah.
how long of a scene this is going to be, but this would be a very interesting scene to watch.
Well, this is kind of like the climax scene. I mean, it's the final confrontation. It's Suge trying to stop them from having their concert,
right.
and they're really fighting back. And it's a the gangsters are from Suge Knight's group, and who are fighting the gangsters are all of these rap people that they recruited. Like it's all of these, So we'll see, like as many of these rap guys that we can get that were there in the '90s, and some that are future, rap
Yeah,
stars
yeah.
now, and they're all fighting and shooting and punching people's nuts off, and it's
Like-
just crazy. I mean, it needs to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously we get the end where, that portal opens up and they're just sucked inside of it, and we get to Act 8.
And good old back to 2025, or I guess in this case, depending on, whenever we do this movie,
It could be 26, 27,
whatever the hell it is,
whatever it is.
right? So now you got Cube, now being that big, like Hollywood's biggest action star, Fast and Furious 17, Cube Drift. I love that. That's
Cube Drift.
Cube Drift. I love it. And then you got Dre, who owns like 90% of West Coast Studios, and now Suge Now Reform delivers his smoothies. I love that. Just delivering
That's
smoothies
like
now.
that's a literal callback to Back to the Future, right? When Biff is like waxing the car, and he's like, "Now Biff,
Yeah, I know exactly.
don't lie to me now. How many? Oh, I still got another one to do." So it's
okay.
yeah, it's just kind of that funny like Back to the Future call out where Suge, who is, I mean, at the time he was big in real life. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, he signed Dre to his label.
Right, and well, technically Snoop as well.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but I mean,
And then Dre left, and
even Cube. I mean, Cube after NWA did his own thing, did his own label and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just interesting now to see this, and especially where
Suge is like not a gangster. He's just like, yeah, I'll go get your smoothie, Dre.
no problem, man. I don't want any problems here, And then you got Snoop over here, which this is honestly, I'm surprised this hasn't actually happened. But Snoop runs, California's first cannabis theme park. Like that should honestly, I would have thought by now would have been a thing. But that's just whatever, I guess. And then they toast smoothies, half proud, half terrified. I'll let you do this one.
So yeah, I mean, they're obviously back, and I'm assuming they would be kind of shocked at like how the future changed, because Dre does not own 90% of West Coast Studios, and Cube is not like Hollywood's biggest action star, right? So none of these things were real until they came back, and so we have them like, hey, we saved hip hop, yeah, we made it bougie.
No, we made it BOU, JEE, baby, or something stupid like that.
And then Dre just, yeah.
Yeah.
The jacuzzi hums ominously inside the bubbling water. A gold Rolex ticks. Suge's hand rising with a smirk.
Oh God, I love the title.
Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi 2. Bubble trouble.
Coming soon. Now, and then it says, credits roll under the parodies slow jam, hot tubbing through time.
Hot tubbing through time.
Featuring Cube and Dre, and then describing the plot line for line. I mean, I will admit that actually would be a cool like sequel, like Bubble Trouble.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
we're
God.
now the Suge Knight from 91
is now coming
is
to
now
the future.
here,
and then you're like, shit,
and you're like, shit. Now we got to stop him from taking over.
and then who knows? I mean, again, it depends on how successful this movie would be. But yeah, no, I just because like we don't really have to talk about the tone here and the notes, but
No, I mean the one thing I think with our AI versus Hollywood series that we do, I mean we've had some good ones, we've had some okay. I think the very first one was okay. I think it would work as a TV show, the sci-fi TV show.
oh yeah,
I think it would work, but it's one of those. It's good, but not great. Echoverse, which is my baby. Like I wrote the book for it. It actually comes out today, by the way.
Hey, what do you know? Look
on
at that.
on Amazon. But Echoverse was great. I mean, that one was phenomenal as a story.
Right.
And a movie, it would be amazing. I mean, that one probably out of all of them that we've done would be probably like a $500 million movie.
Hold on. This is Matt boosting his ego up here for a minute.
I'm just saying as a concept. I didn't come up with the
No.
concept.
No. I understand what you're
But
saying.
as a concept and for what the story is, I mean, I've been engulfed in the story.
Oh,
I think
you have.
I think Echoverse would easily be 500 million. The TV show would be successful, but as long as they keep pouring money into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Earthworm Jim was also just good. It wasn't like great, and that would be very complicated and very expensive to do.
yeah, I mean, I think that when you're looking at, Earthworm Jim in like that sense, I mean, we did talk about, making that a video game adaptation, but the thing is about it is like, yeah, I mean, you'd have to, take those characters, kind of redesign some stuff, whatever you wanted to do. Sure, I don't think it would be like a $500 million movie, and if it was, I'd be surprised.
But it could be a $500 million franchise, especially if you did the movie, you did a video game, you've done comic books, you've done toys. You know what I mean? Like
even if you also did
everything.
maybe you did with the movie, you did like a TV show that followed from the movie. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the other thing. Because like even with this like movie, I mean, yeah, I would say this particular movie, Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi, like.
But
It
this
would
is
be
probably
weird.
like a 100 million. I could see maybe if it depends on the production and how much is
Well,
spent on it.
right, but I was also going to say with Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi, like this one, like this should only be a movie. Like I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like it should not be anything else. Like
no.
Echoverse could be like you said, like it could be a movie, and then you could have a TV show, or you could have maybe you have another movie, and then you make it a TV show or whatever. I mean, there's so many possibilities there, but like.
Echoverse definitely could be a
Well,
TV show,
that's
yeah.
what I mean. It's like you can have those different, but again, it needs to follow what you were doing, from the movie,
Right.
and same on and so forth. So it's like those are the things that we're talking about. Is like oh wait, ready? What's that thing called, Matt? What's our motto basically?
Follow the
The
damn blueprint. Yes.
right. Because like if you have something already in place, why wouldn't you follow it through, right? Because I guess at the same time is like if you're already having a successful movie, then hire the same damn people roughly to do a TV show.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
It's sort of like The Last of Us. The first season was great, and then the second season they're like, we should make some changes, and it's like, well, why the fuck did you do that?
And
And now they're doing season 3,
oh my god.
and
Oh my god.
I don't even know, like, because one of the guys because they had 2 showrunners.
Yeah.
One of the guys left, so now it's only the one guy.
Well, here's the other thing, man. They haven't released the damn third game, so what the fuck are we doing? We don't know what the third.
The second season didn't finish the second game.
No,
I mean,
but
because I don't. I mean, it sort of did, but it didn't. Because I think now it follows the other girl.
yeah, well,
That's what the third season is, I think.
well, so here's the problem, and we already know this. When you have a video game franchise like The Last of Us, I mean, it's done really well. I mean, the fact that you've remastered it so many damn times, at this point, come out with a third fucking game and call it a day and say we're done.
Yeah.
But they
I mean,
haven't.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't even know what we were talking about. My brain is
He's like, it's fried, man.
my brain is small and
He's like, I don't know what's
like
going
a dinosaur.
on. Like a open it. Never mind. I was about to sing you a '90s song, but I'm not going to do that right now. It depends on if you know it or not. But no, guys.
No,
I mean,
you follow the blueprint. I get, and I get it. Like you have the same people doing it, but at some level, like I don't. This movie, Jacuzzi Time Macuzzi, although I think it's hilarious, I think it would work. You have to have the right director. You have to have the right type of writers. And I have no doubts that like the Zucker brothers and Jim Abram, if they were directing this movie, would not have the right writers writing the jokes.
right.
Because what makes this movie are the jokes. And if it sucks, then the movie sucks. And if you don't put money into it,
Well, you're going to get a piece of shit, plain and simple.
you're going to get a piece of shit Amazon Prime stream movie. And we all know that there's a ton of those Amazon Prime parody movies that are absolutely crap.
Well, I was going to say, or you just take a TV show like Halo and then just really, really fuck it up.
Yeah, well,
He's like, don't.
we're not
don't
talking about
he's
Halo,
like,
but
fuck the motherfucker.
the one thing that this movie has going for it is the nostalgia factor. It has, everybody loves Dre, they love Snoop, they love Ice Cube, but it's that nostalgia factor when you're bringing in people like Diddy and you're bringing in, I mean, nobody cares about Diddy, but the the
Nobody cares about
the
Diddy.
jokes sell themselves, okay? But you have like Easy E in there, you have Eminem, I mean, Nate Dogg, Warren G, like you have all of these guys, and it's that nostalgia factor that Generation X and people that grew up in the 90s, like we all know these guys, and it's like you see them in this movie and it's like, oh, that's funny right there. Like, you know
I
what I mean?
see what you're doing there. Okay, I got you now.
So that, I mean, that's one of the draws for this movie, but again, I think this one is good. It's not like the greatest movie ever,
No, I mean,
but it's good.
I would say it's good, and I think it could be. It just I feel like it could be a very funny generational kind of movie. I mean, granted, I'm not saying that you should have your kids watch this because that's definitely not what we're saying here. Because you have to kind of understand that the '90s nostalgic factor, like some of the things that these guys were doing back in that time frame, and not only that, I mean, you're talking taking them from wherever they're at in this whenever the movie could be made, and then bringing it back in time, then bringing them back into the future and be like, oh well, hey, by the way, so just like in the movie like Hot Tub Time Machine, where it what was it Fergal or whatever the hell or Stugel or whatever the hell whenever he changed the name to Google, so whatever his name is, like
Google.
Lugal, there you go. Like doing something stupid like that, and then he comes back and he's like, "Damn, I'm already a billionaire." So like it's just it'd be interesting, and like I said, I mean, you have so much parodiness to it that I just feel like you're kind of complimenting some of the some of the most nostalgic or just really the most iconic parody kind of films, and just kind of like, hey, we're gonna do that, but we're also gonna throw in some like randomness to it, but also
Yeah.
fitting the theme of the movie. And so that's why I was saying with Matt and I here, like, could this ever be a thing? Sure. I mean, it would be. I would say if somebody was like, dude, I just found us the hottest movie, and I'd be like, guess what? We know.
I mean,
It's like
yeah, it is one of those things too. I mean, you're talking about if they go back to 1991, that's over 30 years ago, and most people like, yeah, you have your millennials or whatever, they weren't around when this was happening.
yeah.
So
Go ahead, Matt. Keep making fun. Go ahead.
I'm not making fun.
No, keep
I'm
poking.
just
Keep
just
poking.
saying as a fact. I mean, you have the nostalgia, so you'll have like the 40, 50 somethings watching this movie
Yeah.
because they're wanting the nostalgia. But I think it would do this movie a disservice if you did not have Snoop, Cube, and Dre as like executive producers,
Oh, I absolutely agree
because they were actually there
right
in
during
real
the time frame,
in real life. So you would have to have somebody who was there to be like, no, that didn't happen this way, or yes, that happened.
But I mean, like, even the point of the parody is like, whether it did or didn't, like, you can try to get as close as you can to it.
But that's where you get smart jokes and not just jokes where you're aiming blind because the writers were all born in like 2001.
Yeah, well, okay. See, all I gotta say is this: we're not doing that shit.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, you're like, well, they would have some writers that know the material. Okay, I present to you The Acolyte,
I present to you this
because
pile of dog shit here.
that show was dog shit, and it was dog shit. Well, one, because the creator is dog shit, but the creator hired writers that knew nothing about fucking Star Wars. Only she did,
Right? Or well, hold on.
or she thinks she does,
right because she knew
because she
the
knows
fans.
she knows what the fans want to see. But they
Right.
hired writers that purposely did not know Star Wars. So when some of the actors and actresses didn't know what fucking Star Wars was until they started watching the movies.
Oh God,
And the whole thing was representation, and because they didn't know Star Wars, they just wrote what they felt like was good,
yeah, and
not knowing lore or anything. And that's the problem that you have with these shows that fail, and they're like, well, this show should have a season 2. Fuck no. That show needs to go in the garbage. It needs to be taken off of Disney.
you should
Plus-
apologize. Hold on, ready?
And you should apologize to
Look,
fans.
no, I was going to say not only that, you should also apologize to Lucas for screwing it up so royally. But that's just me.
No, but I mean, it's so bad. I mean, you look at Kathleen Kennedy; she's not even in. She's not the head of Lucasfilm anymore. Like,
Interesting.
right? So,
Interesting how that is.
and this is where movies like this or the other one, the other three that we've done, we're assuming that we're having writers that know the material. And yeah, I would not have, if I was sitting in this room and I was with those three guys directing this movie, and they're like, yeah, we want to hire Jim over here, and he,
No.
like, this kid looks fucking 12. Like, when was he born?
Absolutely not.
He was born in 2002. No, fuck him. Get him out of here.
Get him
Like,
out now. This is not the time. This is not the place.
It's like, let's go to the mall
let's go
and
to
let's
the
point at a
mall.
guy who looks like he's in his 50s. That guy could write this movie better
Than this
that
12-year-old.
fucking 12-year-old kid. Get him out of here. Because we don't want somebody who doesn't know the material. And that's what we're assuming with this whole series is every movie that we're doing, we're assuming that we have the writers that know the material. They're funny, like, or they're serious, they know sci-fi or they know superhero, movie. Like, we're assuming that the writers and the crew are the best crew that we can possibly have. We're not looking at no DEI shit. We're not looking at like, well, this guy is this guy, so that guy is that
like
guy.
this. Guess what? Technically, it is already DEI compliant because, oh, wait, the three main stars kind of fit that into
Well,
a
no,
degree.
you don't have anybody who's disabled. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like,
No, I
get
know,
the fuck
but-
out. I don't care if this movie or any of the movies, and I would be the same way if I was in Hollywood right now. Like, I could care fucking less if you disqualify me from Best Picture. Like, whatever. I am trying to make the best movie by putting the best people that have the best skills. And if that means all the people are white, fine. I'm okay with that shit. Because they have the best fucking skills, right? Like, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
And I'm not trying to go on a rant here, but like,
I mean, you kind of are. but-
at what point does entertainment become entertainment? And this is what we're doing with the series is we're just creating entertainment. We're not sending a message.
No, I think that's the biggest thing that I do agree. Hold on. So I'm going to say this too, is that I do agree with Matt. Is like you're right. We have to go back to the basics of when we're talking about like how movies were made and this and that. Like when you look at like, for example, let's say The Godfather or like Shawshank Redemption or I don't know, like some of these movies that have really like stood the test of time when it
Hell,
comes to
you
like,
look at fucking Blazing Saddles. They
Right,
would
I
not
mean,
make that movie today.
no, they would definitely not make that movie today. But what I'm saying is, though, is like, you're looking at movies that have done so well. And I mean, really have changed kind of like cinema history. You're like, I'm not saying this has to be that. And that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we're providing the content, we're providing the, the funniness and just like kind of be like, hey, we are two white dudes just trying to, figure out like, could this be something that is hopefully genuine, and still funny and has the jokes and has all this stuff. But I agree with Matt. Like, it's not about, does it fit a fucking basically a cookie cucker? I don't know what is going on here.
A cookie cucker.
No,
Whoa.
a cookie cutter. There we go. Format, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be like, hey, here's the best entertainment we can provide. Whether we get, nominated for an Oscar or whatever the hell it might be, or like a Grammy for like best original songs. I don't know. I don't really care. That's not about that because like you said, like having the people that were there genuinely saying, okay, yep, this is what it was. This is this, blah, 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 like throwing the funniness in there.
You have to look at, part of writing this movie. And yes, we are kind of pretending that this movie
I know.
is
We are
like
pretending
a
this.
real movie. But if you are going to write this movie, if you do not take in, and this is any movie, this is just not this movie in general, but any movie altogether. If you do not write it according to your fan base, you failed. So
Right.
if this movie is written in any other way that pokes fun at 90s hip hop, you fail already.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I mean, so like when you look at your successful like franchises, right? When you whether you write some books and you make a movie out of it, and okay, everyone's like, oh, this is great. I love the characters. They're cosplaying them. They're doing this and that. I'm not saying they're going to cosplay this shit, but if they did, great. But like at the end of the day, is like you're providing that one entertainment. Secondly, that just the vibe. Whether this movie does great or not great, that's not the point. It's just making sure like, hey, it's done correctly. It's done in a way that people at least can relate. And that we're also trying to make sure that people understand, like, we're not following some agenda. We're not following suit with whatever, everybody else is doing. Like the whole point is to be a rebel, to be the
Right.
outsiders, and yes, just like the movie, no, and the book. No, but like, it's like we just want to be different. And I think that's the thing where people will say, well, no, you don't want to be different. No, actually, in this case, we do, because we're not following suit what Hollywood's doing. That's why, with this whole series with the AI versus Hollywood, we're proving in some ways, even though, yes, we are using a tool, right? We're proving to you that sometimes, yes, this is helpful in a lot of ways, because now we're going back to where we were. We're making movies or TV shows or whatever the hell it is, trying to make them better. So that way people are like, oh my God, this is a lot better than that piece of shit fucking TV show, Halo, or, or something like that. Like, at least it's
You just got to
something.
keep throwing it in
Oh,
there.
I gotta. Oh, hold on. I look, because you like talking about it. You have your own personal judgment. But anyways, no, I know we've been talking a lot here, but no, like I said, check out the first episode. Hopefully finish with this, because this is what it is, man. And honestly, I think like we both agree, is that this movie could do well as long as it's done correctly. And again, we don't have an agenda. We're trying to provide entertainment, and we're just trying to provide some like laughters,
Yeah,
and
and I mean that's the point. I mean, when you're watching a movie or even like a TV show, like you want to be like sucked in. You want to feel like that world that you're seeing is
it's good.
is good and it's entertaining. And I mean, with this movie, like you want to feel that nostalgia. You want to laugh at the jokes and the comedic tone of the movie. But then, like what happens in Hollywood now is that every movie has to have some kind of um, a a bias or a story, or it has to have that we have to include LGBTQ, or we have to include this, or we have to. It's like
Do you?
you're literally breaking that reality by including, like, who wants to watch a Western about gay people? I understand gay people would, but you know what? In the 1800s, people didn't just say, "Hey, I'm gay," and walk around with their partners. Because you know why? You know what that would happen, John? They get fucking shot in the street.
Correct. They'd be in a box. That's what would happen. And unfortunately, that's the truth.
And I'm not making this shit up.
No, I mean,
I'm just trying to say, like, when you have those biased storylines in these movies that Hollywood's making today, it literally breaks that reality, and you're no longer like absorbed into that world. You have to like filter somehow that stuff out of it so that you
well,
can get back into that.
I'll mention this kind of as the last thing, real quick, is that I love how we also use the word Disneyfied, right? Because like if you think about like a lot of the movies that they've done, like Pocahontas or The Little Mermaid, or any of the books that they adapted it from. I mean, they sugarcoated the shit out of everything, and that's basically what Hollywood is doing, is that they would just sugarcoat certain things, not tell you the real truth of what actually happened, or whatever this account is, because like whatever like for example, like Pocahontas, that none of that shit really happened. They really just made it so that it sounds like it's a love story and this and that, but like that's not the truth, and that's the thing where we're saying too, is that we're given this kind of like sugar coated lie, and we're just like, oh, everything's happiness and rainbows, and like not everything is all about happiness and rainbows. That's also called life, because life in general does not give you the happiness and rainbows. There is suffering, there is pain, there is this and that, and that's how sometimes even the best songs, some of the movies, all this stuff, like showing the real pain and suffering of certain things. Yes, it sucks, but at the same time, that's what makes those things great. Those are the moments
Right.
that you'd want to see, and not some sugar coated crap, because that's really sometimes how I feel like Hollywood tends to do that stuff, and they don't actually
they
show you the whole thing.
they do it a lot. And I mean, my one example, and like I said, I do not consider myself racist or sexist or anything, like. But when you have a show like The Wonder Years, we all know The Wonder Years, right? It's one of the greatest shows in history. They tried redoing it,
I know.
and the show fucking failed. You know why? Because they changed every race to black people. And not that I have a problem with that, but I have a problem with you redoing a great show like that and just copying the shit out of it and just changing the races. Like that doesn't
Well,
fix it. If you're gonna do Wonder Years, don't call it Wonder Years, but do something different. Don't just
Well, hold
don't
on.
just take the mold and be like, we're gonna copy everything, just make them a different race.
Well, think about it like this. So, what if you took? I'm not. And I know this is kind of a little controversial too, but like, let's say the Cosby Show, or you take like the Jeffersons, or Family Matters, or something like that, and you change them all to white or a different
But that
color.
would never happen because Hollywood would never allow that shit.
But that's my point. Is like you start, and those were great shows for what they were. And what I'm saying is like if you started changing that, that's the same idea with that.
I'm gonna
mind.
say this. I'm gonna say this, John.
Oh, here we go.
In our society, and we can end on this. I don't care, but
We should probably end on this.
in our society, racism doesn't exist for white people. So you can take a show like Wonder Years and change their race, and society is 100% fine with it. But if you took the Cosby Show and you made them all white, you can't fucking do that. That's racist shit right there. That's what I'm saying. For white people, racism doesn't. We can't claim racism on anything.
And the sad truth of like we've said is that even when we talked about racism, I mean, yeah, I love how we talked about this whole thing.
I know. I don't know how we. I don't know how we got here, but
no. But I do say this, and I do agree that it's almost this reverse racism, because I'm not claiming, and again, this is what we're saying here is that we're not saying that. Sure, if we're talking about the past and all this other crap, like we're not doing it currently, right? Because there was things that were in place that have been abolished, and have things in place that we're not doing anymore for this exact reason. But again, keep in mind, if I'll throw it in there too, like slavery. It wasn't just African Americans or just Africans in general. Like it was other races. It's not just a specific race.
Every race in the history of the world
has been been some form of slave.
Yeah,
plain and simple. And it does not. We've basically.
It's not a. What you're saying is it's not a white person problem.
No,
it's a world problem. It's a global problem.
And that's what we're saying. And like when we're saying these things, because the truth is, we haven't let go of the past, and we're still basing off whatever happened in the past that had nothing to do with us, because we weren't currently doing it. Like, it's not like, okay, yep, I have a slave right now and he's working for me. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Like, and I don't, and I would never do that, because that's not what I want somebody would do. For me, like if I owned a company, like I'm going to treat, like if I'm the boss, I'm going to treat that janitor or that low level person just the same amount of respect, no matter what, because I would hope that they would give me the same amount of respect, even though I would say, you know what, forget my title for a second. I'm like, how are you doing, Jim? Even though that you're my janitor in the company, it doesn't matter. And that's the same thing with this as we're talking about. But anyways, because I think we really need to end on this note here. But, so yes, we've talked about so much, and I know we jumped around a lot here, but, check out our, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here. Check out our homepage. Sorry. Check out the website, basically, check out the merch, check out all that fun stuff. You can find us on all the social media outlets, especially YouTube, because, we're trying to grow that too. Check out the merch store. Like I was trying to mention before, check it out, because anytime that we're trying to, grow and build, sometimes it helps, you guys representing. I mean, we can talk on two different mics here and just keep doing what we're doing, but we need you guys. We always need the support, no matter which way we look at it. Whether you're big and famous, or whether you're the small guy like us, whether 7 followers from Ireland. No, I'm joking. No. But I mean, the point is, guys, is we need your help, right? We can't do it by ourselves, and so that's why we do appreciate it. Any kind of views, any kind of merch, buying of it or whatever, right? We appreciate anything you can do. And yes, with Matt's book coming out too, right? You can check out Amazon. Check out his new book. Plus plus he has his other 2 books. I'll let Matt hear.
Book number 3. So yeah, you can find me on Amazon, Matthew Ryan. Like I said, I have the Amulet Keepers, Power of the Gods, and Shadows of War. They're both up there. And today, February 1st, Echoverse is on Amazon.
Yes, and I know we'll be dropping this technically on the 2nd, but yes, on the 1st of yesterday, basically, yes, you can now check it out, and check it out, because again, it's interesting to see how we took an AI, idea to then make this happen, because that's really what it was, and you're like, oh my God, how is that possible? Well, you know what? Anything is possible. That's all I got to say.
And now there's a There's a full 500+ page book
just for you to read.
just for you to read the whole story from beginning to end.
But anyways, boys and girls, until next time.